Hey everyone, it's Daniel here from Infovest. Just wanted to do a quick video and talk about a commodity, a metal known as gold. Now, many of you know about gold. Many of you probably traded. Many of you may own actual hard assets, physical gold, whether it's in chains, jewelry, or gold bricks maybe. But just wanted to talk about this concept of owning gold. And, you hear a lot of people talk about that gold's going to the moon. Gold is the next asset that's going to, go up in value and skyrocket, and it's going to do well. And there's even claims that gold is going to see the price, 5,000 very soon or in the future. And I'm not denying that, right? It can happen. There's a possibility that this stuff can happen. Prices could go, to levels that we haven't seen before. But I wanted to stress on the importance of gold, how I look at gold versus maybe you may look at it. Now, in terms of trading and investing in gold via the stocks, via the gold mining stocks, or through futures or options, I utilize them more in my portfolio for more short-term, more for swings, more for macro ideas, more for macro trading ideas, rather than the idea of holding it long-term for years and years and years, right? That's for my investment portfolio, my trading portfolio, sorry. For a long-term investment portfolio, sure, you can add gold more for a longer term as a hedge against inflation, right? Hedge against other things as well. But you can utilize gold from that perspective. But in terms of, other than the gold mining stocks and other than the gold stocks out there and the GLD ETF that you might have heard of, right? Right now, what I'm doing with those investments, especially the GLD ETF, I'm actually short. I'm actually short the GLD ETF, and that play has been doing very well. Gold prices have been moving down with higher US dollar. We see gold prices tend to reverse down, and with quantitative tightening, we see gold prices also tend to move down. And the thing is, with a recession that's looming, and if we have a liquidity event and really things start to sell off in the equity markets, and we sell off on very low liquidity, sure, that could also trickle into other commodities like gold, and we could see gold prices come down. Now, does that mean you should not own gold? Does that mean you should get rid of gold? Does that mean you should sell gold, get rid of it completely? No, I'm not saying that, right? Gold has a purpose, and I believe everyone should have a piece of gold and own gold within their household, and take advantage of what it can do for you. Right? Now, this is not investment advice, okay? I'm not giving investment advice. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always consult with a registered financial advisor before making any investment decision. But for me, how I look at gold, I look at it as more of an insurance policy, right? And the reason why I look at it as an insurance policy and why it's very important to have gold as an asset and to keep it there, not because it's going to go to 5,000 or 10,000 or whatever, is because it's an insurance policy against the fiat money, the fiat currency, the paper money that you see, that you transact in, right? The US dollar, the Canadian dollar, the rupee, anything you could think of. Paper money, it's a hedge against paper money, and from your wealth and your finances deteriorating in case there is a massive geopolitical tension, in case within your own country, and we're seeing it already, right? In Sri Lanka, you have the president, prime minister who basically fled the country. You've got riots happening there. You've got famine happening. You've got food inflation increasing. You've got a big issue with Sri Lanka paying its debt, and same thing with Pakistan, right? Fuel prices have increased 50%. People are feeling the pinch. Pakistan is going to IMF asking for a bailout, right? And we're seeing a lot of emerging countries out there start to see their bond yields start to move up. And there's a lot of emerging countries out there that are being hurt from a higher US dollar and their own currency and that they're printing, and they're trying to pay off their debt that they have that is possibly also in US dollar. Like think about it in this way. If your currency, and I did a video on this, if you take, for example, Pakistan's currency, right, is depreciating and it's the worst performing currency in the world, but you owe money in US dollar, you've got to convert your rupees, Pakistan rupees, to the US dollar. You're going to be heavily affected by it, right? Because the US dollar continuing to move up, but your currency is moving down, and you can't do anything in regards of the US dollar to pay off that debt. And you can't start, printing more US dollar if you're in another country, and you can't do anything in terms of the US dollar moving up. So what can you do is you can only manipulate and affect your own currency to try to help pay off that debt, which is in US dollars. So your currency is moving down, US dollar is moving up, and as this is happening, your ability to pay on your debt is becoming harder and harder and harder. So this is a huge problem. This is a huge problem among the emerging markets out there, and gold comes to mind whenever there is some sort of issue like this, right? And we're also seeing it with Italy. Italy's having had their Prime Minister Draghi basically leave, and there's a big government issue there. They're doing elections to figure out who's going to fill in the prime minister's role, right? They've got bond yields that are skyrocketing, coupled with high inflation, coupled with Russia slowing down the pipeline of natural gas. I mean, Italy's in a very, very tough situation there. On top of that, you've got labor shortages, prices moving up, right? And just enormous debt amount that is feeling and fueling this fire in Europe even more, right? And it's got the ECB, the European Central Bank, involved, that's now thinking about utilizing a tool to help Italy with its higher yield so it just doesn't go bust, right? And we could see the same phenomenon in many, many more countries. So going back how this relates to gold, right? With gold, here's the thing. Here's how I look at gold. If you've got, I know for some of the viewers who may be watching this, right, you may be living in the US or in Canada. I understand that North America as a whole is quite strong when you compare to the emerging markets out there. And the chances of, a Sri Lanka situation happening in North America is very low. The odds are very low. But don't think that's still not a possibility and probability, right? I'm trying to use my words very carefully here so YouTube doesn't, pick up on it and ban this video. But the point I'm trying to get across is that the paper money that you have, the currency that you have, if you go and run to the bank tomorrow, if everybody in the country goes and runs to the bank tomorrow to get their money back, right? There's going to be a big bank run. It is almost impossible for the bank to pay everyone back and give their money back. As soon as you send your money back into the bank, majority of that money is used to create more money, more wealth for the bank, because they're lending it out for whatever, it could be mortgages or loans and etc. And what you see in digital on the screen of your bank account, it's all numbers. So at the end of the day, if you think about it, the currency that you have in the bank account, there might be a small portion of it, but not all of it truly there. The same way for crypto, and I'm not, against crypto. I'm for crypto. I love crypto. Bitcoin's great. Ethereum's great, right? But the same way that you go on a crypto website, Coinbase or anything out there, and you invest your money on those crypto websites and you buy Bitcoin and Ethereum, guess what? Your money there, and Coinbase basically had this in their, I think in their earnings report, at any time they can seize those assets. Those are not your assets, right? If they were to go bust, I mean, just look at many examples like Celsius and many other, a Voyager, another example, another crypto website. You know, people have money there and they can't pull it out, right? They filed for bankruptcy. They're going bankrupt. They can't pull their money out. They can't do anything. It's stuck there. So as soon as you park your money at these crypto websites or at the bank or whatnot, then guess what, right? You're at the mercy that this institution is not going to go bust, and you actually don't really own your assets. So how do you do it? How do you own your asset? How do you have something, right? We still need paper money. We still, crypto is growing. Still, people are investing in crypto. You still need fiat currency. You know, I'm not saying that take all your money, throw it under your bed and stash it away. I'm not saying, don't give your money to the bank or whatnot. You can do whatever you want. This is not advice. But what I'm saying is, how do you protect yourself in the event of a bankruptcy event for a country, or any country that you live in, a situation where there is currency issue, any situation where there's bankruptcy situation, solvency situation. How do you protect yourself? Gold. The answer is gold, right? Think about it, right? Owning actual gold, whether it's gold jewelry, whether gold rings, whether you own gold bars, you can take your fiat currency, exchange it for gold, and since history, if you look back in history, gold has always held and retained its value, right? We see the fluctuations of gold, right? It had its nice big move up, and then it came down, reached to 2000, and now it's coming off to about 1700 right now in gold. It couldn't break out higher, and we're seeing gold prices move down, right? Don't look at gold from a perspective other than from your day trading ideas or your investing ideas, right, in your investment portfolio. Just put that aside for now. You can do whatever you want with that, but aside from that, protecting yourself and your future generations, gold is an asset that has always held its value. Gold and silver, actually. I want to add silver there too. A lot of these metals. Gold and silver has held its value for a very long time, and you can own hard assets of it, and you can store it somewhere, keep it somewhere, and it will have value, so that if in case, let's just say, let's run a very bad scenario that the country is going under, you can't get your money, you've got a lot of cash at the bank, and you need to flee the country, right? And there's a lot of examples, right? We're looking at Sri Lanka, we're looking at Pakistan, look at Afghanistan, right? Afghanistan is a very good example where the Taliban's basically moved in, and a lot of people were fleeing the country. They're hanging on, the planes of a lot of these military planes of the U.S. that were leaving that nation, and they wanted to flee, right? And they couldn't, right? And you can't go out and get your cash. There's a run on the banks. You can't can't get money. So what do? You've got assets in your hands, such as gold, and you can utilize that, whether it's in any country, whether you are hungry and there's no food, you can exchange gold and silver for food. If there's a farmer out there who's producing food, you could do that. You could do that because gold and silver still holds value. And if fiat currency is crashing, or there's some sort of issue within that country, that gold and silver will save you, right? Same thing if you want to flee the country, you need a car or whatever, right? And there's, let's say there's a limitation on cash. Then what do, right? The gold and silver that you own, that you have, the jewelry that you have, the gold rings, the gold jewelry, right, that you have, can protect you, right? We make fun of these people who own gold jewelry and they're all blinged out and stuff, right? As long as it's gold and it has value and it's real gold, right? sure, they may look funny, but in reality, if something were to come, just like we've seen in history, a lot of presidents flee. Don't think that just because you're in a first world country that your president wouldn't flee as well if tensions came and escalated to that level, right? So how do you protect yourself? Gold and silver. They hold value. They hold assets. If you want to exchange something, you exchange it in gold and silver, because if you can't get any cash from the bank account, your crypto accounts are locked up. The internet goes, internet shuts off all of a sudden, right? People say, oh, I can buy crypto and I'll be fine. Well, no, because if the internet shuts down or those crypto websites shut down, sure, maybe you could do it through your the ledger, the USB ledger on crypto. But again, if the internet shuts down, you're screwed there, right? Another example is I own a house, right? So my house is my asset. Well, is it? Right? Do you have more military than the country? Can the government just come and seize your asset, your house? Sure, they can, right? If they need to build something, a highway or whatever, they have very much a lot of rights to do so, right? They could just build over a road. They could do whatever they want. They can make you, force you to sell your house. So even your house is up for grabs, even in a situation where things are really, really shitty, right? So what do, right? What can you keep in your pocket? What can you keep on you? What can you keep that you can store on the side in a very safe place that will hold its value? Gold and silver. So gold and silver, in my humble opinion, the hard physical assets, I'm not talking about the stocks, I'm not talking about the mining companies, the hard assets itself is very, very important that I feel people should have part of their investment portfolio, part of their wealth creation portfolio. Whether you need to use it in your lifetime, hopefully not, right? Or maybe down the road in your generations, your kids may need to use down the line, and again, hopefully not, right? It will come to use if we are ever in that situation, right? So, I don't mean to make this video as a doomsday video. It's not to scare you guys, but to just talk about the concept of gold, the meaning of it, and how I look at gold, more of an insurance policy against the fiat currency, against the system, against against for anything. There's a risk of that, right? Of not getting any money and not being able to sell your assets on time. So what can you do? What can you keep in your pocket? Where can you keep certain things that are in a safe place? Gold and silver, and it'll still hold its value. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment below, and I'll see you guys around. Thanks. Bye.